Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lomiko Metal's channel. We're sitting here once again with Paul, who's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes lately. So let's kick it off. But first off, Paul, how are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Good to see
Uh,
you, Michael.
It's great to see you too. So let's hop into this first one, shall we? Because I think this one's going to take a little bit of explaining to really help people understand what's going on, right? So this is pretty recent. You guys, your Lelut metallurgical testing produces concentrated grading, 97.8 carbon and 93.5 graphite recovery. So can you break this down for people and what this really means for the company?
Yeah, essentially what we wanted to test with SGS, which is a very significant lab that does a lot of work in for graphite companies and for general mining companies in Ontario and Quebec. What we wanted to do is hire them to look at the actual nuts and bolts of taking the material out of the ground and processing it into something that is sellable or transportable to a port. And so that's essentially what they were doing, and they've completed only half of that at this point in time. There's another report coming out of SGS, but what happened is they used 200 kilograms of material from both the zones in Lelut, the electric vehicle zone and the graphene battery zone, and they tested them to see what flake size distribution there was going to be, what is the carbon purity after processing. So they removed the waste rock from the material by crushing and then flotation,
Mhm.
and then we're able to measure. Well, after all of that, the sample size came in as say it was 7%. Well, how much of that actually ends up being recoverable? And
Mhm.
that's where that 93.5% comes from. So out of the material that we gathered, 93.5 is recoverable after the various processes that they put through. They
Okay.
put the element through, and then you look at the other side of it. Well, how much of that, or what portion of that, what's the grading of the material that's recovered? Well, that's where the 97 percent comes in, and that's a very high number. I mean, we've got a good comparable to look at our neighbors, Nouveau Monde. We're about 200 kilometers away from, and their recovery rates are about the same, a little bit less on each, but they have a lot more testing that they've done, of course. Now, this is just preliminary on our part, but it's very, very encouraging. And what we're looking for is a reason to go forward and do that PEA, and we got it.
Wonderful. Yeah, those numbers look great. Congratulations on that. And again, thank you for explaining that to people. I know it's not plain as day for your average person watching things.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we had two engineers working on it on the news release to make sure it was all done well, and IROC reviewed. And it's a very important thing when it gets to technical information. You have to have it right, and it's not exactly easy access for the average investor, but it's important for analysts and people who are in the engineering field and potential purchasers of the product to know.
Yeah, agreed. It is important stuff to know. And again, thank you for explaining it. Let's hop into some of the other things that Lomiko has been doing kind of behind the scenes to really position you guys self in a good spot going forward. Can you tell me about some of those?
Yeah, one of the other major things that happened was that we hired bridge consultants to do outreach within the community and identify stakeholders in the area of the Lelut project. There's a number of towns and that are around the periphery of the project, not quite close, but within 6 to 8 kilometers of the project that do want to know what's going on. There's groups of people in the area that have different recreational facilities. There's hunting and snowmobiling that go on along in the general area. Those aren't massive recreational activities, and there's many places for them to to do that activity. So we're going to have to, though, consult with those people to see
Yeah.
what we can do to help them alleviate any potential loss or any loss of use So those are the things that are very important, and identifying people who would work at the location, people who would be benefited from the project coming in, business owners, hotel owners, gas station, everything like that. Those are all stakeholders in this community, and we want to make sure we consult with all of them as we go forward. So it's very important to have someone who speaks French, is comfortable in the community, and we have the team in place now. So it's really really good to see.
Yeah, it's a very important part to talk to the local communities, right? Because your goal is to decrease the friction that's happening there because you guys are coming in. So you want to be like, hey guys, here's what's going to be happening. And there's lots of ways the community can benefit. And there's things you can do to help with any potential issues that may arise. So again, good job on that. That's very important. Anything else you want to mention before we go?
Yeah, a couple other things. We've hired investor relations in the United States to reach out specifically to U.S. investors. So we went through the process, and they were TSX approved to proceed with that. And they're going through a list of quite an extensive list of contacts that they have. And we're lucky enough to be hiring a group that has been successful in the past in a couple different deals. And so basically, some of their investors are coming out of very successful deals in which they've got 5 or 6 baggers, and so we're really happy to have that group involved in introducing our company to their prospective investors, and people that they have on their lists.
Wonderful. Yeah, it really seems like Lomiko's revving up here. You're getting out, people are getting the message out. You're doing the important work necessary to show people the numbers. So, congratulations again. All right. Last chance. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Yeah, one of the big things that we did do is we announced who was going to do our preliminary economic assessment. So we've chose the international firm Osenko, very very big firm that's able to do almost anything on the project, including the initial design all the way to operation. So very important to have that versatility on the project, and it just so happens by happenstance, they were the same group that did the preliminary economic assessment and the feasibility study on my previous project in Peru called Norspont Mining. So we had a great win there, and it was very good. And so it was apropos that we get them back again to do work on this particular project, which we think is going to be very prospective and very, very beneficial to all involved.
All right, Paul, you keep pumping out the updates, man. You keep things rolling. Thank you again, everyone, for watching. If you guys have any questions about anything, please send them over. We'll be happy to answer them for you. Paul, hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Take care.